Okay, so we'll be building this dashboard from scratch. It's called Superstore Analysis. You can name whatever you like. The dataset I've used is called Global Superstore, and it is pretty popular dataset that you must have seen online somewhere. And if you don't, I will provide you the link of that dataset in the video description. So let's start from the top. So we have all the important business metrics or KPI on top. I have the sales, the profit percentage, the how many total orders that happened, how much discount we gave away, and how many number of customer we have, or our customer base, right? All these important business KPIs are on top, and it's always the best practice to have your most important KPIs or metrics on top. Next is, let's see the visual, the geographical map visual. So what this visual is telling us is how much sales we are making by each state in the United States. And you obviously we only have the data for United States in this data set, so that's why you're only seeing United States map. So each what does each bubble represents, right? The size of the bubble represents the amount of sales that is happening. And you must have seen, like, if I go into the focus mode, the focus mode allows us to maximize our visual so that you can see your visual in a full screen. So let's go into the focus mode. So what this visual is telling us right off the bat is, wherever the bigger circles are, those are the states where we are making most of the money, or we are at least making most sales. And the smaller the bubble means less number of sales, less number of orders, less number of profit. So another cool thing is, if I hover it over in one of the example, like state of California, we can quickly see what is the sales, profit, and total orders that were comprised from sales of state of California. And also we can also see the top 5 cities by sales and profit. So this is called a dynamic tooltip, and we will look into how we can create our own dynamic tooltips. This tooltip allows you to get additional context on your data points. And another example, we can see some bubble in the red area. Let's take New Mexico as an example. So we can quickly right away see that we are not making more sales. There are like very less number of orders in New Mexico. That's why the bubble is smaller and it's red, right? So this visual allows us to quickly see on a geographical map where most of our sales are happening. Now let's get back to the report. So the second visual is pretty simple. It's sales by category. You have these 3 categories: office supplies, furniture, and technology. The bar graph represents sales and profit. And you can see we are making most of our sales in office supplies, with followed by furniture and then technology. Sales by subcategory, again similar thing, but this is broken down into subcategory, and I've used another bar chart, but it's a horizontal bar chart where you have sales and profit and by subcategory. Next is this table visual. This table visual has your product ID, category, subcategory, and the sales, profit, and profit percentage. And I've also added some of the conditional formatting here with some of these KPIs: sales, profit, and percentage. This is um, conditional formatting by default, by the font, and then followed by the icons. Um, Next is a donut chart, that is sales by ship mode. We can quickly see what sort of ship mode is most popular when it comes to sales. We can see standard ship, standard class, followed by second, first class, and same day delivery. Obviously same day delivery cost more money, and we will have less number of orders, and we will have more sales in the standard class, which are kind of free shipping, I would say. um, then sales by customer. So right here I'm using a scatter plot to uh, kind of demonstrating the linear relationship between the sales and profit, so that we can quickly see some of these outlier customers. So let me go into focus mode and look at some of the data points. So if I look at this marker, or at this data point, this customer has enormous amount of sales when compared to other customers. So we can quickly see this customer is kind of an outlier: lot of sales, lot of profit, right? And then So and then followed by some of the other customers just like these. And here you can quickly see, although this customer had a lot of sales, but the amount of profit we are making is in negative. So basically we are losing money on this customer. So this visual can quickly help you analyze all the different data points or different customers based on sales and profit. And also I have added the zoom slider so that if you want to only look at some of the criteria like customers below 10,000 sales, it will help you kind of narrow down your vision to look at all these customers below 10,000. In the second is, at last, is this sales over time and profit over time, just like time series analysis visuals. I could have added both of them together, but I just wanted to um, not create a lot of complexity, and I kind of separated them out. So here, obviously, you have the order year or order date as your x-axis and your sales on the y-axis, and then you can highlight all the seasonality with your sales over time. And then so is this same thing with profit over time as well. One thing to notice, you can basically drill down into the order date, meaning you can go on the top of the hierarchy, meaning you can look at yearly basis, like yearly basis how much sales is happening. And if you go further down the hierarchy, now it will show you by quarter how much you are making. Then if next is monthly basis, so monthly basis you can see January, February, March, by what sales are happening by month, by each month. So this allows you to go from top to bottom hierarchy. And similar thing with the profit as well. You don't want to go to the daily ones, like daily how much profit are you making, because this will create a lot of noise in your data points. So overall, this is what some of this like. So I've intentionally kept this dashboard very simple, so that if you are a complete beginner trying to learn Power BI, this will be a perfect video for you to follow along. The power of the dashboard comes when you give the power to the users to slice and dice the information. And how does that comes is with these filters on top. You give the ability to the power user or whoever is using your dashboard to slice and dice the information according to their own needs. For example, I am someone who manages all the stores in the West Coast, so I'll be only concerned with the West Coast data points. So here I can filter down my entire dashboard to just West Coast data. And another example would be I'm only looking at technology because I only manage technology. I will drill down to technology category only, and I only care on the last 2 years of the sales and profit. So I will narrow down it to 2013 and 2014, and only corporate. So this allowed me to kind of narrow down my entire dashboard to only my criteria, whatever criteria I have. So this will dynamically calculate all the data points and give you the data for your whatever condition you have sliced and diced the dashboard by. So again, we'll be if this looks really overwhelming or even if simpler, that's great. We'll go through each of this visual and see how we can create it from scratch in a very simple manner. So without further ado, let's jump right into creating this. Okay, so once you have installed Power BI Desktop on your Windows machine, unfortunately, there is no Power BI Desktop version for Mac users. You only have to have a Windows machine. So if you have installed Power BI Desktop on your machine, and if you haven't, I'll provide you the link in the video description to do the installation so that you can follow along. This will be the view you'll be landed on. So this is the default Power BI Desktop view. You have your canvas view, you have a list of all the visualization, you have your data view. We'll look into what data view comprises of once we load the data. You have your report view, your table view, and your model view. Again, we'll go into more details. And on top you have a lot of other different options. So to create the dashboard, what we need, the number one thing we need is the dashboard to have the data, right? We'll be essentially doing an ETL process. So what is an ETL process? So ETL stands for extract, transform, and load. extract the data from some source, transform the data or make any changes to your data, and then finally load the transformed data into Power BI. So we'll be essentially doing these three steps. So let's go into step one, that is extraction, extracting the data from somewhere. In real world, if you're working as a BI developer or a data analyst, most of your data will reside on some sort of database system. These days you have a lot of cloud warehouse databases. Example will be AWS Redshift, Snowflake, Azure, etc., or even on-prem databases like MySQL, Postgres. But to keep this video or this tutorial simple, I've already downloaded the data into an Excel workbook. So to do that, let's look into get data. This is the option, or the integration with your source data and more. You have a lot of list of different sources where you can extract the data. Again, Power BI works with a lot of different data sources or systems where you can directly grab your data to do. But for our sake, we already have the data in Excel, so we'll be clicking on Excel workbook, and this is our data set. So Superstore V2. Let's look into what the data set you know consist of before even going into extraction and loading process. Um, so we have three tables. One is orders table. You have your transactional record where you have your order ID, order date, ship date, ship mode, who ordered it, like the customer ID, and what product they order, and all the different your sales, profit, quantity, and discount for all your analysis, whatever measures and calculations we'll be doing, and order priority. I don't know if we'll be using it or not. And then you have your customers table where you have the customer ID and all the different information on that customer, their name, segment, city, etc., state, etc. And products, you have your product ID and category, subcategory, and product name, all the like the descriptive information on your product and customers. So essentially we'll be using these three tables. And how we will be connecting them, we will be connecting them based on a common key, that will be customer ID for to join the customers table, product ID to join the products table. Again, if you're coming from an Excel background, it's like doing a VLOOKUP on your customer ID to get the customer information, and VLOOKUP on your product ID to get the product information. It's like fact versus dimension table. And again, this is out of scope for this video, that we go into more details on fact versus dimension and all the star schema, snowflake schema kind of details. But I will provide you the link in the video description to kind of read what fact table and dimension table it is, and it'll be really helpful. um, so again, so once you have, let me go back. Once you have you know um, connected your Excel workbook, your data set, you'll be landed into this navigator. This navigator, what it is asking us, like what this Excel sheet consists of is all these different tables. You have your orders, customers, and product. So essentially this is the extraction process. You can directly load your table into Power BI, but that will skip the transformation steps. That is again very necessary to see the quality of your data, and if you need to make any changes. So we'll be doing the second step, that is transformation, by clicking on transform data, and will be landed into Power Query Editor. So this is essentially one of the most important features that Power BI has, is Power Query Editor, because this allows you to transform or check the data or clean up your data set according to whatever your need is. So this is, I would say, one of the most necessary step when you're connecting with any sort of data set. Okay, so let's take a look at what transformations we can do on our data set. Again, this, I would say, it's pretty clean data set, and we don't have a bunch of transformation that is needed. But again, I'll touch base a couple of examples, right? So if you look at orders table, we saw earlier, you have order ID, order date, ship date, etc., all the different columns for the orders. Some of the things we might not need, and if you don't need anything, don't load it into Power BI, because that will save you some memory. So it's best practices to remove any unnecessary column. And what I'm seeing right here is row id is one of the example we want to remove. We don't have to do any calculation or include row id in any of the analysis that we will do. So it's best practice to kind of remove the unnecessary columns. Again, you have your order id, order date, ship date, etc. If you click on any of the column, Power BI, what it does is it quickly looks at the top 1,000 rows and kind of do a descriptive analysis on your column. So by clicking at the ship mode, I can quickly see we have standard class as most common value in the top 1,000 rows, then is first class, second class, and same day. Again, these are very I would say powerful features. So if I click at sales, you can quickly see from the top 1,000 rows, what is your minimum sale, what is your maximum, your average sale amount, standard deviation, common values, and so on and so forth. So this is essentially the power of Power Query. You can do a lot of different other transformations as well. If you don't like some values or you want to fill some null values, you can replace the values, unpivot columns, columns, lot of different statistics function as well. But again, I don't have anything to add here because it's already cleaned up. If I look at the customers table, again, it is similar thing. We have all the things that we earlier saw in Excel file. And one thing I can see is, actually, no, it's good. It's all clean. So I won't be doing any transformation here. And yeah, here is one of the example, right? So Power BI um, didn't load the data very well here. It thought there is an extra row in the Excel file, and it added it as headers of the column. So it is essentially thinking that this is column 1 and the name is column 1, column 2, and column 3, but it's not. So what we need to do is we kind of need to transform this, right? We need to um, promote our first row as the name of the column, but because it is essentially the name of the column. So how do we do that? We click on this table function and you use the first row as headers. So now we can see that you have your product id, category, subcategory, product name as clean column names that it accidentally loaded as a row or as values. Now we have promoted them. So this is one of the example of transformation, right? So all looks good. Let's now finally load the data. So how do we do that? You click on close and apply, and you have loaded your data. So Power BI will do its best job to quickly summarize everything and load the data. Okay, so you have your data loaded here, right? So you have your orders table, all the columns, customer table, all the columns, product table, all the columns. um, what we need to do is we need to first connect all these tables together with orders table, so that we build and customers table that we have loaded earlier in this model view. So model view allows you to kind of connect your fact table with your dimension tables. So here we have orders tables as fact tables and product and customers as dimension table. How do we do that? How do we connect these tables together is by using the common key. As we earlier saw, we have product id as our common key with the orders table. So I'll quickly drag this orders, the product id, to the orders product id, and it will basically connect your tables together with one to many relationship. One to many, what is one to many? Is you have your unique products in the products table, and you have multiple product id in orders tables, obviously, because any customers can order similar products multiple times. So you'll have different records of that product id in your fact table or orders tables. And obviously you have your unique product id, that is a primary key in products tables in the as a dimensional table. Similar thing, to connect customers with orders, you drag your customer id to your orders ID, and you connect your customers with orders ID. And this is again giving you a warning for many to many relationship, because we have similar customer registered in different city and state in this table. So that's why we have multiple customer ID in this customer table. So that's why it's recognizing it many to many relationship. And we'll connect OK, and now we have connected these two tables together. So this is essentially a star schema kind of thing. Like you have your fact and dimensional tables connected together. Again, you next is table view. Table view allows you to quickly see your tables as it is, like the raw data sets, your orders tables, product table, and customers table. And you can quickly see your any changes that you need to do with your formatting of your with your columns. And also you can create new columns that are like kind of I would say the calculations that I will take a look at later in the stage. um, but I can give you a quick example. So if you right click it and add new column will do maybe total sales, and we will multiply our sales column with our quantity column, and that will kind of do the calculation and create a new columns as total sales. So in this table view you can quickly see um, your newly added column. But I won't be using that, so I'm gonna delete it. This was just an example that I wanted to show. Next is the canvas view. Okay, now let's start building our dashboard. So the canvas view is where you will have all the visualization, build it together, like bring it all together as one unique one dashboard. To first start building the dashboard, I want to set the canvas setting. I want to set the size of the canvas to maybe 1100 by 1500, so that we have a good amount of space for our all the visualizations to fit in. Okay, so the next is let's add a title to our dashboard. We'll go into insert text box, and here we'll add the title Superstore Analysis. I'll just change the size to maybe 20, italic, and change the color. We need to change the current theme. I was using, I think, a different theme when I was looking at the dashboard, and that was classic. So to do that, let's change our theme to classic. So how do we do that? Go into view, you expand the options, and you have all the list of different themes that are available. And also you can customize your themes by changing the colors. So I've changed it to classic, and I'll just change in uh, we'll try our best to replicate what we have. I don't remember all the settings, so I'll be doing it on the fly. So it might look little different than what I was showing you earlier. Next is just divide your title here. So I'll add a new line by inserting a shape, and I'll expand it here. Okay, so let's first, before even building our visualization, I want to write some functions, some calculations. We have sales, profit already there, right? And if I drag it here, it will give me a default sum of sales. And you can change your sales field to show different calculations like average, minimum, maximum, count, etc. Like this will give you your average sales, this will give you your total sales, and this will give you your minimum sales, what you have, and so on and so forth. But we need the total sales. And how do we do that? This is one of the ways you display your sales. But I really want to emphasize writing some measures, like using DAX calculation. data analysis expression, the DAX stands for. These are like the very powerful Power BI language to do all the calculations and build your own custom calculations. To do that, I will do a right click on here somewhere on the table wherever I like. Right click, write new measure. Now it will prompt you to write the new measure. What does your measure stands for? You have to give the name. So I will write sales equals to. Next is what function or what calculation I need to do is I need to sum up all the sales that I have in my data set. So what I need to do is write sum the sales in my orders table, and this will give me the sum of sales. So it's saying you already have a name called sales as a field, so I need to choose a unique different name for my measure. So I will say sales, I will say total sales or something, total sales, right? And then it will give me that calculations. Note, you have as I earlier showed you, you have your sum of sales that looks like this. Now you have a calculation that is also total sales, and if I drag that as well, it will also look similar. Why we do that is we always create calculations most of the time to do a standalone calculation that you can use in different areas on your visualization, or you can reference them in your different calculations rather than always doing a default calculation on your field. So always try to create your own DAX measures to sum up any fields that you are working on. So, and to do that, I will, because it is a sales and it is a monetary field, I want to change some of the things on this measure. I want to make it as a currency and add a dollar sign. I think a dollar sign will be added automatically. And right now I can see it is doing a 4 decimal places in the end, but I only want 1 decimal places, so I will do a formatting change here. And so now it is doing a total sum of sales from my data set, and it is formatted in a way that I want. Okay, so do the similar thing on to get the profit. So total profit, and then I will do a sum of profit, and this will give me again the total profit that I have, total sales, total profit. And I will quickly reformat it again in currency and 1 decimal places. Next is profit percentage. Again, I will reference this. So hey, this was what I was talking about earlier. So now I have created a measure called total profit and total sales. Now I can reference it here as my profit percentage by dividing total profit by total sales, and this will give me my profit percentage. So total profit percentage is 0.12, that is in decimal, but I can quickly format that as percentage here, and percentage. um, okay, 12.47. Did we see 12.47 earlier? 12.5. So 1 decimal place, so I will do 1 decimal place here and 12.5. And how many total number of customers that we have? How do we do that? We do a unique count on the customer ID. So total customers is, you do a distinct count. So there's a function called distinct count in Power BI. So this will give you a unique record of all the customer IDs that are present. um, do a distinct count on customer ID, and we will have our total number of customers that are 793, that we saw earlier, 793. And the discount, the total discount that we gave away. Again, I can do, I'll use this, i'll I'll do a default on the discount. I won't write a function, just for fun, right? We can write the function, but I'll just save some time. Okay, so now
So
our
let's
all the
start by
functions or the
creating our
measures are
first
set up. Visualization, that is a map visualization. So what I need to do is I need to grab from the list of visualization the map visual and select it. So basically, it will create this placeholder. The first thing I need for the map visual is I need the state. So where is the state? It is part of the customers table. I'll click on state, and it will automatically add the state in the location field, right? And now you can see you have your all the states highlighted that are part of this state column. Next, what I need is I need to analyze the sales for each state. I need the total sales. So I'll click on total sales. You can see it automatically recognizes the total sales as a measure value, and it added a bubble size on top of it. So it automatically dragged the total sales into the bubble size and referenced all the states with the total sales. I need to change some of the settings on the map visual. What I need to do is I'll go into the format button. So the format your visual allows you to change some of the visual aspects of your visualization. I need to set this to grayscale so that I don't have this blue color around it. Next is the color of the bubbles, right? So as we earlier saw, we're gonna color the bubble based on their sales, the say total sales by the state. So how do we do that is we go to the format your visual, you'll go to the bubble size. You see the size. I'll increase the size a little bit, and then you have this color option, right? And the color option allows you to conditionally format the colors on your map visual. So if you click on FX, basically it will take you to the conditional formatting rules. Again, if you're coming from Excel background, you're very well familiar with conditional formatting. You go to your format style. I want the gradient value from lowest to highest, and what I need the condition to be based on is based on the total sales. So you click on the field option, you go to your orders, and you click total sales. So it will be based on your total sales from minimum to maximum value. You can add a middle color as well, but I'll just leave it as it is right now. So if I click OK, I should see all the bubbles um, based on the total sales, the color of all the bubbles based on the total sales. So we can quickly see we have reds and greens. Next is add the title. So to add the title, I go to general, I go sales by state, and make it maybe this color, highlight it a little bit bigger, and then bold it, make it italic. Okay, so this is one, maybe not bolded. Let's unbold this and add the Unicode MS. Okay, sales by state. And another thing I want to do is I want to add a border around the visual that we earlier saw. So to do that, I will go to the effects, visual border, yes, shadow, yes. On the visual border, I will add a round border of maybe 16. I will add a border color, and then same thing for the shadow. I'll add a shadow, the darker shadow. So now you can see it looks pretty clean, sales by state. And then you have all your states highlighted. I will add, what I need to do is I need to add the so what I'll do, I'll quickly do a placeholder for the other visuals that we saw earlier. So I will add all those visuals together. I'll make it a little bit smaller so they all can fit in. Okay. Okay, so I'll do the similar thing. So I'll select all of this together. and I'll do a similar thing in the end. Why I'm doing this is I want to keep the title and the borders, all the settings stored. So I don't want to keep doing setting the borders and the titles colors, so that I can save the setting and I just copy paste all the visuals and I just overwrite any settings that I need. Okay, so the first is sales by state. What I think I'm missing here is a space for the KPI. So I will increase the size of the canvas a little bit, just to compensate that. Let's do 300 so that I have the space for. You hit control and you can select all the visuals together, and then you hold your left mouse button and you kind of drag everything together down. Okay, so first thing is the I'll quickly add all the KPIs that we earlier saw. So total sales, just to before doing that, I'll just add a border and the color. So call out value, I need green, maybe darker green, and label, darker label, total sales, italic, and add a border around it. Border again, darker border, 16. Again, you can play around with different settings, and whatever you don't like or whatever, you can create your own settings for these measures. So I'll quickly copy paste, copy paste, paste. Okay, so I think we have 5 KPIs. I will select all of them together so that I can distribute them horizontally. So click on format, select everything, click on format and distribute horizontally so that they can all align. So total sales to total profit. This was profit percentage, and this was, I think, discount. Oh, what I can see is we never created the measure for discount. So just to show like how you can use the default like field summation. So right now it's doing a sum of discount. We'll keep it like that, but you can override the settings by double clicking on the field option, and you can hit discount. And I'll also quickly format this to currency and 1 decimal place. Okay, 1 decimal place, and then last one was the total customers. So unselect this and add total customers. Okay, so these are on top. You have all the the KPIs, and next is so we have sales by state. So next, I will add we will talk about how to create the dynamic tooltip that I showed you earlier, where you'll see the state of the state name and your top 5 cities for the state and total sales and profit, etc. We will create that dynamic tooltip later. Next is I'm gonna quickly change this to Next is we'll change this to the bar chart that we saw earlier, sales by category. So what we need is we need to remove all this. I'll select the clustered column chart from the list of visualization as the visualization, and then I'll add category, and it will add category on x-axis, and on y-axis I need profit and sales. The other way around, I need sales and profit, so that the sales is green bar and the profit is this black or darker gray bar. So you can see you have your categories as x-axis and your value as y-axis, and you have your total sales and total profit divided by this bars, like colored bars. Next is I'll quickly change the title, sales by category, and then the next one is sales by subcategory, but this was again a clustered bar chart, so I'll add that. I'll remove the state, and I'll again quickly add the subcategory. I'll add the total sales and total profit, so that we can quickly visualize the the sales and the profit bar into each other, and we can totally we can also see here, right, wherever it's a bar that is beyond zero, that means that represents that we are losing money in that subcategories. For example, in the table subcategory, we can see the profit is negative 17,000. So that means we are losing money on tables. So this quickly represents, all the positives and the negatives. And again, we can sort this by different things. So if you want to sort your subcategories by the profit, you can click on these three dots and then sort it by profit. So here you can quickly see, you have your copiers as the most profitable subcategory and your tables as the least profitable subcategory. I'll keep it like this for now. Actually, I'll sort it by the sales. Okay. Good. So next is I want to add the data labels on this bar chart, so that although I do have the y-axis sort of a reference line, but I also want to add the data labels. How do you want to do it? You can just click on, again, you format your visual, add the data label. So it will add, your data labels. So basically what amount of sales and profit is happening in each of these categories. One thing I don't like is it is formatting it and showing the data labels as in millions. What I want to do is I want to see the values in thousands. So I will change the display units by going into the data labels, clicking on values and display units to make it thousands, so that, yeah, right now I can see it's $836,000 sales in technology and $145,000. So changing the display units is pretty straightforward. Again, I'll add similar thing. I'll do a data label and I'll also do the thousands here. Okay. So next is I'll just quickly change the title as well. Sales by subcategory. Next thing is our table, the table visual, where we have the product ID, sales, product ID, category, subcategory, sales, profit percentage, all the metrics into a one table visual. Why I'm doing all the visualization is I kind of want to um, give you a demo of each of what each of the visualization looks like all together in Power BI. So to do that, let's select the table visual right here, and again I will remove this. I just need the product ID, and it will give me all the product IDs. I need the category, subcategory it belongs to, and then total sales, total profit, and the profit percentage. So as we saw earlier, like, creating these measures becomes really straightforward. I mean, it will really help you in referencing it in multiple visualization by just clicking it, because you have already formatted them in the way you want. It becomes really easy if you want to drag them to other visualizations. So that is the purpose of creating different measures. Okay, so I can see we have our product ID, category, subcategory, sales, profit percentage. Now what I want to do is I want to kind of conditionally format them based on the values. I will conditionally format them. So to do that, you go to specific columns, go to total sales, and you give, actually I can do the conditional formatting here. Let's go to the field view, and you click on total sales, conditionally format, font color. The font color will be based on the gradient total sales from minimum to maximum. Minimum value will be highlighted as red, and maximum, higher the sales, the greener the value. So now you can see, wherever you have less value, it will represent in red font, but wherever you have higher values, it will represent as darker green shade, and then it will go accordingly. And so is the total profit. So I'm going to quickly do similar thing for total profit. and for the profit percentage as well. For profit percentage, I'll also add um, the profit percentage, but I'll also add the um, sorry, I'll add the icons as well. So 0 to 33% represent the red icon, 33% to 67 percentile represent this, 67 percentile to 100 percentile represent green. So it will create kind of all your different icons as a selection. So you can quickly see where you which product is basically losing you a lot of money. Okay, this is our table visual. I will add a, a, a green text color or font color on all the column headers, and you have your totals as well. Okay, next is kind of a donut chart or a pie chart, or a I will add donut chart, not pie chart. I like donut chart better. So add the ship mode and your total sales again. So this kind of shows us, I'll just zoom in a bit. Okay, this shows us standard class, second, first. What I want to change is I want to change the color of the slices. I'll just change the color of the slices quickly right here. What I want is, rather than showing the name, but I want the legend to represent what label it is. So I'll add the legend. I don't want legend colors, I mean legend title. I'll remove the legend title. Here for the detail label, I only want the data value and percentage of the total. So right now I can quickly see standard class is our most famous um, ship mode, where 60% of the orders are standard class. And first class of same day, obviously same day will be less because it's more expensive shipping method. So we will have only 5 to 6 percentage of total orders. um, Also, you can add additional things on your tooltip. So right now, if you hover it over, your tooltip shows that the class it belongs to and the total sales. You can also add your um, profit and profit percentage as tooltips, just to get the additional context. So right now you can see it will also show you total sales, total profit, and profit percentage. Again, quickly change the title, sales by ship mode. And the next one is a scatter plot for the customers. So let's click on this, remove state, remove sales, add in the customer ID. Okay, add in your sales on the x-axis, your profit on y-axis. Okay, and go to format, category label. Actually, I need customer name. So rather than customer ID, I'll create a customer name. So customer name, category label. So add in the zoom sliders, and then I want to change the marker from circle to diamond. I will do a diamond here. Okay, and I'll change this to sales by sales and profit. Sales maybe versus profit by customer. Okay, so you can quickly see now you have your sales, you have your profit, x axis sales, y axis profit, and this sort of represents, for example, this customer right here represents, they have a lot of sales and a lot of profit. So this kind of represents the outliers as well when comparing with majority of other customers, right? So this is essentially a, and because we copied our visualization from sales by state earlier, It kind of followed our conditional formatting criteria. It's basically conditionally formatting each data points based on the total sales. How we can quickly see that by clicking on the format markers and color. So we can here see it is doing the criteria on the total sales. However, we can change it to maybe total profit. Do the total profit, and now we can see like now it is based on total profit. So obviously below the zero line all will be red, above the zero line it will be greener, and on top it's uh, the most profitable customer. Also, just so that your visual, so that your user knows what this is based on, you can add the legend so that it represents your scale for this conditionally formatting. Next is sales over time. We can quickly change this to area chart and change this to order date. Order date is basically a hierarchy. Hierarchy is year, quarter, month, day. So it kind of follows that hierarchy in the x-axis, and then you kind of put your total sales on y-axis, and it will represent your total sales by axis. Again, it is doing the similar kind of marker conditionally formatting, so it follows it through. I will keep it like this. Next is, so right now we are on top of the hierarchy, meaning this is by year sales. If you want to go below the hierarchy like quarter, month, day, you keep on doing going one level down by clicking on this double arrow, and now it will show you the sales by each quarter. If you hover it over, you can see quarter one, quarter two, quarter three, quarter four, etc. And the next level is month. So I will keep it by month. By month, what's the level? Um, by month, what's the sales? You can obviously change your color. I mean, it change your marker based on whatever other markers available, like diamond. You can change this to diamond, and so it will represent diamond. But I don't want to do that. I'll just remove this, and I want to keep what I've already have here. So next is sales by this is sales over time. I will change this to sales over time, and I will quickly copy this, and I will name this as, I will change the sales to profit as I was showing you earlier, and I will change the color of our line to make it consistent with profit, because we are, for profit we are representing this darker color all over the dashboard. So this is profit over time. Okay. So good. So now most of the visualizations are there. What next we want to do is basically do a dynamic tooltip on our sales by state. How do we do that? We have to create a separate tab for tooltip, so that we can add that tooltip back to the visualization. It will make more sense once we create it. So here I want to create a new tab. I will actually add this, name it is to summary dashboard, and then name this as tooltip. You change the page layout to canvas setting to tooltip, so it will rearrange it. On top, what we wanted to have the um name of the state, so I'll add the state name. um, I will add the KPI card, and I will change the value to maybe 20, change the color to darker green, and remove the category label, so I have the state. It will make more sense once we dive deeper into this. I will change this to Unicode. Okay. change this to, I'll just copy this, copy over, change the size to maybe 14. Okay. uh Change this to total sales, this to total profit, this to profit percentage, or total orders, sorry. So did we create the total orders? Okay, we haven't created the total orders measure, so I'll quickly create that. um, Total orders, distinct count order id. So we want to count all the unique order IDs, so we'll do a distinct count order id, and I will format this. Okay, total orders. Here also, I think I missed the KPI total orders. I'll also create it later. Okay, total orders. So I do want to label this. So category label, make it very short label. Total profit, and then total orders. Okay, so next is our top 5 cities. Here I'll add the, okay, I have to rearrange the size a little bit. Okay, so select city, and then select your total sales, total profit, and what was the other thing we looked at? I think it was, if I just quickly see this, okay, sales and profit. And okay, got it. Sales and profit, and column headers, make it all green. So it's all green. Actually, all of it is green, so I will change all the values to green. Alternate as well, green. Okay, I don't need, do I need totals? I don't need totals, I guess. Can I remove the total somewhere? Totals, I don't want totals. Okay, do I have totals here? No. Yeah, perfect. So next is we only need a top 5 cities. So how do we do that? We select the visual, go here, we do a top n filtering on the city. I just need top 5. You highlight the n number of cities you want, so top 5, and it will require you that what top 5 you need, like what is the field that the top 5 should be based on. So I want total sales here, and apply filter, and it will only look at the top 5 cities by the total sales. I will sort this out, and now I have my tooltip. So you can rearrange it to make it look perfect, but let's see how I can. First of all, I will have to hide this so that I don't see it as a separate tab. Now let's see how we can use that tooltip here. If you hover it over, you see nothing is happening right now, but once I select this, I will go into the format. I will go into general. I will look at this tooltip option. um, I will look at tooltip. Here is the page that we created earlier, so tooltip, and now I think it should work. So if I look at California, and you see your total sales, profit, total orders, and your top 5 cities, and so on and so forth for all of the states. So that's how you create, your dynamic tooltips. You can again experiment multiple things. You can create visualization like line chart, bar chart. You can analyze by city how much you're doing. Again, sky is the limit here. So I will quickly add in one more KPI that was missing earlier. So I'll just rearrange this quickly. um, okay, and I will copy this somewhere here. Profit, discount. Okay, total orders. So total orders. Okay, total orders. So I will quickly distribute this horizontally. Okay, so we have all the KPIs on top. Okay, so the last thing we need is we need the filters on top. So Power BI, that's the, like, I always emphasize that's the most important part of analyzing anything, where you need to slice and dice the information accordingly. So to do that, what we can do is there is an option called slicer. You click here, and then the slicer will appear on top. So the first slicer I want is the region slicer. So I click on region, and this will create like a list, like a list visual, right? And what I need is I want to go to the format slicer setting, and these are the different styles that are available. You have your list style, you have your titles. So title is essentially what we will be creating, but I just want to show you one more thing. One is the drop down, where you have your drop down option, and then you select whatever you want, right? But for our purposes, I just need a title, and I will quickly add that in here. And I will add, I don't want the slicer header. I will add the title as region. I will format this here somewhere, and then you have your region slicer. Okay, I added the border next to each of those selections. So I will add the values, borders. Okay, I forgot what was the setting for the, I think I have to provide the padding, and then the values I found, added this. And then for the border, I want all across border, I guess, and make it a darker color. Okay, perfect. So I'll just copy these settings over, this again over, and I have segment, category, order, year. So region, order, year. One is order, year. Okay, I have to make the room for all the slicers. So region, segment. So segment, again, you need to change the title. Segment, category, category, and then last is the order year. So I'll grab the order date, and I only need the year. So show me the hierarchy, and here I'll remove everything else and just keep the order year as it is. So I'll change this to order year. Okay, okay, let me just make it a little bit. Okay, okay, this looks perfect, I guess. Again, you have the option to add other different slicers if you want. One thing I can do is, there's a lot of white space right here. I can just quickly take this and put it a little bit on top, and maybe change the height to 1100 or maybe 1200. Yeah, I think 1200 looks good enough. And then this is done, so I will quickly save this. So once this is done, I'll quickly save this and name it Superstore Demo. So once this is done, how do you want to share it? So what essentially you will do is you basically click publish, you save the settings, and you have to be logged into the Power BI desktop with your Microsoft account. You publish this to my workspace, or if you want to create other workspace, I'll show you how you can do it. You essentially publish this to Power BI app. So this is what the Power BI app looks like. This is app.powerbi.com. Here you want to log in with your own credentials, and this is where you can share, or you publish your report and you share your report with others. So if I quickly see in my workspace, here you'll have list of other workspaces if you have admin right, but you have your personal space as well. Here is the demo that we created, we published. If you look at in here, you can see the dashboard that we just created is published here. So this is how you can create a very simple dashboard in about, I would say, an hour or two, um, by going through this video. And then again, I really appreciate you following along with this video. If you thought it was a little bit helpful to you and it gave you a kind of a momentum to get started with Power BI, I would really appreciate if you can show some support by liking this video and sharing it with your friends. Again, have a good day, and talk to you later. Bye.